Hey, Stu, you doing? Stu, Stu Reed. All right, my microphone not working. My mic. Stu. Yeah, Stu. All right, Stu, we on the air, man. That's unmute. Okay, Stu, we on the air. Let's go. Oh, shoot. Yeah, Stu. Oh, he's Stu. Let's go, Stu. Are we doing
Mr.
this?
Dougie.
Yeah, I'm here, man. Can you hear me? Yo, Stu, can you hear me? Shit working? Hello. Yeah, Stu.
Oh, okay, I had my speaker turned off. Good morning.
And that's hey, Stu. That's a good way to do it. Keeps it
Yeah,
real.
right?
Yeah, keeps everything real. I sent the link out to Bob.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna send it out to Wally.
Yeah, I sent it to both of them as well.
I'm talking about the YouTube link.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're looking for.
Right. So that's working smoothly for you now, huh? Getting on.
I mean, I ain't been having no problem. Maybe they fixed it.
Didn't work for me the other day.
Oh, well, it works. I'm working fine. Oh shit! I don't know why that's. I don't even know why that is. That makes no
Yeah.
sense to me, actually. Same account.
I might ask, I'm going to play around with it later. If I can't get it going, I might ask you to start my show on Wednesday.
Oh,
If you're around.
Yeah, that's easy to do. I'm gonna send you.
One of Dave's hotshot guys. Like you might remember this guy, Bruce Kushnick. He's the guy that's been going after Verizon with all the lawsuits and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you talked to him at a couple of the affairs that we had.
I did?
Yeah, you did.
I did?
We did, and you were there, yeah.
I don't remember that.
All right, well.
Well, hey, listen, so what?
Yeah, it's a big so what.
Yeah, so I remember that. Yeah, what else is new?
But he wants to link. Where is it? He wants to share it. Blah 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 blah. So.
Oh yeah, good. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. He's trying to get Jolly to come in and.
Yeah, I did.
Put it on the page.
I did one over there at the studio with Brother Leroy and with Rick yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Put it on the Zoom, and while you're in the studio, the Zoom is on the big screen up there. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe I figured that out.
You what?
I couldn't believe I figured that out. Like, like on the fly. I just said this. So what about this?
Okay.
And so it was all working. I was like really proud. So then we did it again. Rick came, and then we did one like that. So it gives it a, looks like a real TV studio because the people you're talking to, because with the Zoom thing, your guests can be on video.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between that and
your audio is a little distorted. I don't know if you're talking on a speaker or whatever. Your audio is a little distorted.
Say that again, Stu?
I said your audio was a little distorted. I don't know what that was. Just
Still, we have to wear a mask, bro.
That's what?
We got to wear our masks, you maniac.
Oh, okay.
That's the muffled sound you hear is the sound of the mask, the new sound of the people. We're all reducing our sound in decibels or some shit. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, So anyway, we worked out, and so it kind of worked out. So it's kind of nice. So I'm happy that it's kind of moving forward because you still have a way of getting the stories and the information out to the people. Like the various stories and everything. And so Brother Leroy, I'll send it to you. He did a couple of shows from there. He looked kind of good doing it. So cool.
Okay.
I thought that was an interesting way to hit it. But obviously for me, Stu, as you already know, Stu, sometimes we just become recalcitrant, Stu.
No kidding. No kidding.
Just we have to have our moments of repose. I suspect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, maybe that's built into some people, I guess. But I'm figuring out how we could use they got a nice program, which also for that where we could monitor the network, which they had it already, but I was like, I was just fooling around with it. So now I'm like seeing that we really need it. And then the reason why I'm bringing it up because they have a billing component to it.
Oh, okay, right. That's a good reason to ignore it.
Well, no, I said to myself, I know someone who would look at this billing component and go, whatever, yeah. It's pretty extensive at first. I think they were, I don't know, what I like about them is that since they let the customers do R&D, what they do is they have a lot of support shit to help the R&D without doing the R&D. Let you do it.
Okay.
So I'm saying the benefit of that is that they would have these tertiary things that you would need if you wanted to do that. Like, you could, like, now they got a whole cloud shit where you can monitor your whole shit on the cloud. And I'm in their beta program, and when they tested that, when they had that, that's how we got all those maps.
Oh, okay, yeah. Going back several years, you're talking about.
Yeah, that's how we got all those maps of all those links we had. Yeah. So then, for some reason, they stopped doing it. I don't know what they was thinking. They were doing some other crazy shit. Now they came back with it, and it's like new and improved. So that's why I'm like, okay, now it's time to, go back in there and do it. Because you could make it happen. They had a certain, some customer must have figured the shit out. But there was some certain like 5 or 6 different steps where you put shit in these separate boxes, and then you could automatically make the thing appear on the cloud, whatever the fuck however they was doing it at that time. Mm-hmm. Had the maps, and somebody else contributed the map part. Now they got all that. They got all that shit now. So you're right. That's what I'm saying. So that'll be perfect for to identify and you can have it broken down in areas so that certain areas you can see in this location, that location, and they're separate in and of themselves, like a instance. So if you were going to use like something like the AWS, this is the kind of application that would work within that kind of infrastructure. But what these guys do is that they make it for free, which is very smart. You know what I mean? If you do that, which is back to what we were, the same thing that we're looking at is if you have things that in this, it's back to the thing I was saying yesterday. If you have something for everybody where everybody's getting something, that shit is going to have a good chance to be successful.
That's going to get traction.
Yeah, or it's going to have a really, really great chance for traction, because there could be other factors that unforeseen that could maybe make it not get traction. I'm just saying, because nothing's 100%, statistically speaking, law of probability. you have, I found that once you take courses at the university about, statistics, you think of a lot of things in that way, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have never have, I don't think before that I would never have even thought like that. But once you do that, you start going, oh, the probability that something that you didn't measure happens. So you get a newfound. That's why when I listen to these guys about these polls and everything, I really always look at what's the sampling size.
Yeah, I mean, it's even more detailed than that. I mean, it's like, how did they ask the question? How did they phrase it? What didn't they say? There's so much nuance to polling and to sampling, as you said, in addition to the size, that you can really structure those polls for outcomes if you really had a mind to it. And
of course you can. I mean,
I
would think that's obvious.
I don't think there's any truly objective poll. There is no such thing.
I would think, and I agree. I would think that that's like so totally obvious, because even you didn't even factor in the point that some dopey person is the one to put this shit together, and they're going to have some of their own implicit observations. If you didn't even want to say bias, they're going to have their own implicit observations, man.
Mm-hmm. And then you factor in, well, how is the poll presented to the end user, and
that's true too.
And how is it presented, and
that's true too.
What's the end user's mindset as they respond?
Well, I mean, I think what's more important is how is it presented, because that gives you're going to be projecting and looking at the data in a specific way, and you're going to be making presumptions based upon the data. Because the numbers ain't going to change, unless you manipulate them to change. And that's the other thing that you figure out once you have to do that stupid statistic stuff. You start realizing that all of those things have to have a numerical value in order to measure them. So so you have to structure the questions differently so that you can fucking measure them. So you know what I mean? I mean, over and above your political bent or your political observation, just for the fact that you're putting together a model, and that's what you're doing in statistics. You're putting together, because I kept going, why the fuck we got to take this shit? You know what I mean? What the fuck we taking this stupid shit for? It didn't make any sense until you got in there and started looking around. You're going, oh, this is how they measure shit.
Yeah, well, I enjoy statistics, so you don't fool it. I jump right into it.
No fooling. Surprise, surprise. Of course I know that, but my point is, the whole art of it is exactly what it is. It's an art form, and that's how I look. That's how I took it. I looked at it like that. I didn't look at it for the, like if I was a school teacher or something, going, hey, these principles. I'm just looking at how you could take it, give things a measurement, and put everything and take all of the information and put it on a chart, put it on a graph, and then somebody can look at it and they can make observations. And there's a beginning, middle, and end. And you're like going, oh, because to get through it, that's what you got to figure out. You got to go, okay, why are we doing this? Oh, yeah, we got to get these numbers. Then we're going to put them on this chart. And then we're going to make some assumptions. Oh, it's 3 steps. And each step got some shit that you got to do in between. So that's how I looked at it, because I figured, well, I already know enough shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So I walked in and going, I don't know shit. So I didn't know nothing too much about algebra and all that. So I didn't have nothing to cloud up my mind, especially when they said you could use a calculator. So now we're talking. Now you crunching. Once you value everything, you just gotta have something to crunch them. Otherwise, you gotta fucking do a lot of writing, and you can make mistakes. But then they got the plus or minus. So it is. You're right.
Yeah, margin of error.
Yeah. So it's a wonderful step. Well, that's the standard deviation still. So then all of a sudden you start realizing that there is a numerical value to logic. And when I used to be on when we used to do the other show with David and them, I would always, when something got crazy, I would always go, okay, why don't we just get on the logic train? And I would always say, I learned about the logic train from being a kid. And the end of the number 3 train was like 2 stops from, I could get on the train station in my house and ride 2 stops, and that you're at the end of the number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Last stop. And if you sit on the train, they don't throw you off, dude. They just turn, sometimes they make it, but they just turn right around and head right back to Brooklyn. So the logic train, so I would always go with the logic train. So if you miss your stop, you sit around, it's going to come back again. There's always a beginning, a middle, and an end. And, whenever you got on that train, when you're a teenager, no matter what you did, you're worried about what stop you're going to get off, it didn't matter. Because even if you missed everything, the train was coming back there. And so I always thought about logic in that way. So you ever come, somebody talking a lot of crazy talk, let's get on the logic train. Beginning, middle, and end.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of logic train story.
Yeah, there's I'd say.
There's Mr. Oh, you let him in?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, thank you, Stu.
What?
Oh, that, Oh, quick admitting Stu. Quick admitting. Stu, is his mic on and everything, Stu?
I don't know.
Well, maybe you should check. I like to wait for I always like to see if the mic came on.
His mic is on, but not video.
Well, he might not be.
Maybe he's still getting it together.
Maybe. Can you guys hear me?
Of course we can.
Okay. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Bob.
What's popping?
We got 2 more weeks to go. But first of all, me and Stu were just talking about the exciting intricacies of building statistical models.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Hey, Stu, that is really true, isn't it, Stu?
Yeah, well, vis-a-vis the whole polling and, all of the projections that folks make based on these assumptions. And we're just kind of looking, behind the curtain about how, some of these polls are constructed and the sampling size and how they draw conclusions. And it is not rocket science. I mean, it's not definitive, put it like that. They're still guessing.
I think it is rocket science, Stu, but it's just that you're guessing. Some of it is rocket.
The great Mark Twain, who was able to write books and use the N word profusely, once said there are lies, damn lies, and statistics.
There you go. Hey, Stu, do you remember when we ran those focus groups with Con Edison, and we were in the mirrored observation deck watching the people responding to our list of parables?
I do remember.
Yeah, parables. So yeah, you're damn right there, Bob. Mark Twain was right. We actually sat through that, and I would venture to say, without getting into details, almost everything that we told them or said was proved out by the group. Is that a correct assessment, Stu?
Oh, that's right on the money. I mean,
unbelievable.
To me, the lesson was that our empirical observations about what we had done, the work we had accomplished, and our intuitions about the population
was empirical
that we were dealing with, were right on the money. And all that the statistics did was, supposedly a mathematical confirmation of what we already knew.
But Stu, we both got A's in statistics in college. What are you talking about? That was almost statistically. I'm saying that statistically there was a good chance of that happening. That's what I'm saying.
If we were not good observers of human behavior, if we didn't know the population that we were serving, I would say all the statistics in the world wouldn't help us.
Well, Stu, I'd say that your penchant for stating the obvious is still there. You're right on point, bro. But I did only mention that, Bob, is because that was a pretty interesting exercise in, human observation, and not unlike the sort of observation that we are seeing here today. With the 16 days to go before the election, and all these people are already voting early. It's pretty interesting.
By the way, it's not 16, it's 15.
But who's counting?
Yeah, 2 weeks from tomorrow, right?
We are.
Everybody's counting. I'm stunned by how. What I like the most is how obvious the Republicans are in doing everything they can to limit people shopping for democracy. It's incredible. Incredibly obvious. I don't know about the motives and all that other shit. It's just, I'm really digging on the obviousness of it.
Yeah, in addition to obvious, it's shameless. That's the part that blows me away. Yes, it's obvious, but they are shameless. And in a democracy, and these are political figures and politicians that supposedly, uphold the democracy and believe in the democracy, and they are shamelessly, trying to suppress the vote without any, shameless. I can't think of a better word. Well, what do you think, Bob? What's your take on what they're doing?
Yeah, I don't know. Shameless is the right word, but it's just not strong enough.
Yeah.
But they've just given up pretense about anything. A lot of them have given up the pretense about racism. Lindsey Graham getting up there talking about the good old days, So it is what it is. In many respects, it's probably what's needed, because it in many corners we can just end the conversation. Because the gaslighting has been at an all-time high, where it's like they literally, put it in your face and then tell you, no, that's not happening. But it's at the point where it's like, you're on camera, we see you. So, and 40% of this country is still like, yeah, I'm down with this, I've heard guys who were like lost their whole families to COVID, and they're sorry, they're apologizing for thinking it's a hoax, but they're still going to vote for Trump. It's like that. Okay.
I guess that's the psychological thing where, once you kind of make up your mind that it is very, very hard to change your mind. And the further you go down that path, and the more reinforcement you get with your peer group, it's almost impossible to change your mind, even though it's killing you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, when you have Fox News, which is nothing but a psychological reinforcer for, all of this crap, and people who are literally watching Fox News, 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, times that by 10 years. And you literally have somebody who's programmed, and they'll believe anything.
We just.
Hey, I wanted to ask Doug. Doug, do you remember that conversation we had with Kenny Schaefer, where he was recounting the conversation that what was the satellite guy that had with Rupert Murdoch? You remember that conversation?
The guy, Charles Ergen.
Yeah, Charles Ergen. He was talking to our friend was talking to Charles Ergen.
He's a fucking genius inventor, motherfucker. But go ahead.
Right, he invented what's this other satellite company?
He did the wireless mics, and then he did the where he was monitoring the Russian satellites who were pneumonias.
Yeah. Anyway, this Ergen guy was talking to Rupert, and our friend actually had the conversation with the Ergen guy, and the deal that Rupert cut in order to get his licenses approved was that he would be a propaganda machine for the right wing. Right. And because he was a foreign entity, he got around the SEC rules about propaganda.
Right.
And the administration signed off on that.
Of course.
This is like, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was incredible. I mean, it was out front. Is my point, Bob. There's no mystery. It didn't kind of evolve that way. This was planned.
What we thought they were.
This is it.
The Bears are what we thought they were. What we thought they were. We played them in preseason. Who the hell takes a third game in the preseason? Like third game, everybody played 3 quarters. The Bears are who we thought they were.
Denny Green.
That's why we took the damn field. Crown them. They crowned their ass. They are who we thought they were, and we got them on the hook.
That's what they're gonna say that maniac wins again.
Yeah.
Let him off the hook. That's why you see all those people out there voting early.
Yep.
They're not letting them off the hook, man.
Yeah, I'm impressed looking at those folks lined up. It reminds me of 20-some years ago, South Africa, when they were first given the right to vote. And we saw those incredible lines of people lining up to vote. And I remember thinking, damn, that would never happen here. But look, here we are.
It is. That would happen here because
it has happened here.
Well, again, when there was, I told you the guy was asking me on the doc, they was asking Dr. Blackie about the having all the people getting together and economically and forgetting the whoever the perceived economic enemy was, and I said. And then you look at any of the history, then you see what they did to the Indians, the Mexicans, the Black Wall Street. You see what they do. This is how they operate. They do these abominable things throughout history. And so you have to have something where everybody wins. If you don't have that, then you ain't changing nothing, period. And that's because we live in a every man for himself country. And so when you have that kind of a situation, the only way you counter to win is you get everybody in the team. And I've seen that as a weapon. I've been on teams where, everybody was for themselves. Those are like, you're in the All-Star team. That's what that shit is. You just show up. Everybody got a reputation. You get out there and everybody just, freestyling like some jazz musicians. So, and somebody's going to take more shots than the others. It always happens. So you have to have a way, and so you don't win nothing, doing it. You're just exhibiting. And then when you're on real good teams, everybody's playing for each other. You already know everybody on the team's idiosyncrasies. You know the stupid shit that they like to do, and you cover for them. When you ain't on a good team, you get on like Kool-Aid. you lose it. So it's to stay in a good team. You have to. My experience is that you have to be willing to make sure that everybody gets the glory. When you're on a championship team, everybody that helped, even if they only helped by just sitting there and talking shit, they're still a champion. And that's what we don't have in this country. We don't have a situation where even the worst guy, the worst person in the worst circumstance is okay. Mm-hmm. That's what you got to shoot for. Mm-hmm. So that was Dr. Blackie, though.
Correct your jazz metaphor in that those guys all work together. Everybody gets a chance to improvise on their solo take. The whole thing only works because the whole team is playing together and covering for each other, just like you said.
Well, you're right, Stu, but the only difference is, the only thing, I guess the nuance I should have said in the All-Star game, you ain't playing for no championship. You just out there, you just there to exhibit what y'all can do. Mm-hmm. That's what I meant in that regard. I didn't mean that the Jazz guys don't do it. I mean that you ain't gonna go with that All-Star team is not a team that you would try to go with a championship with, because that's not what it's all about. on the team thing, you need people of lesser skills, some people with more specific skills. And we don't have that in our culture. We don't have that kind of a way of looking at things, and they try to cast light at that and call that socialism and make like socialism is some kind of fucking bad word, or using words like, oh, he's a looter. And I had to remind the guy who said that on the program I was on that about looters, that I was in prison and there was nobody in there for fucking loot. I was in maximum security prison, dude, with the criminal hospital, the hospital for the criminally insane, on the same grounds where they shot the Shawshank Rebellion, which whatever you call that movie, which is probably the only prison movie I always watch, and I never knew why. I told you that about a couple of years ago, Stu. I never knew why until I found out that that's the same prison I was in. So you know, like it's like it's like being like high school. But the funny part or the point of it is that in there I didn't see anybody, and I was very observant because I was a teenager, who was in there for looting. It's not a fucking crime that you go to prison for. You don't go to prison for looting. And they're on TV going, the guys were looting. They broke a window. What? It's not a criminal act, Stu. Just saying. I just thought I'd throw that in there so I couldn't help myself.
Yeah. You know, the other ironic part that, you know, I've seen in some of the current rhetoric was 45 came on and talked about how Kamala, first he called her a socialist, then he called her a communist. And, you know, I'm just stunned when, you know, his best friend is Vladimir Putin. When he lists all those guys come into the White House and with their own press guy and walk around and take pictures and record, and he has the nerve to say somebody shouldn't be in office or run for office because they're communists. It's just, you know, amazing, just the total hypocrisy and just dumbness of this guy. I mean, you talk about logic. There's no logic to him.
Would that be called, Stu, would that fall into the category of hubris?
Yep, that too. Absolutely.
Oh, you just throwing out all the SAT words today.
Hey, Bob, I graduated from college and never took that test. I'm proud of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm proud of that shit.
Oh, that's how bad you are. It's like they just
no. Just hey, Bob, just got lucky. Like, you know, hey, you know, before they looked around, I was already I got in there because I was a basketball player, so I was already enrolled before they knew anything. And I happened to do good the first semester, and they said, nah, all right, he belongs. You know, so you know that's what happens. So I got lucky. That's all that was. You know, the first. Yeah, okay. You know, when you first get there, you know your first semester in there. You know, you really, you know, me. I took the shit seriously because I you know, I was there and I was on parole. It was like I was like the officer and the gentleman. There was no going back home. Mm-hmm. So I actually paid attention. Probably for the first time in my whole life, I paid attention the whole fucking semester. And I made a point to not to do that again. So there you go. You know, comedy and hijinks in college.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, lots of that. Lots of that.
Yeah, I remember so I'm there on parole in the high. I'm on the basketball team. I'm on parole. Nobody knows I'm on parole, but the baseball coach who recruited me, he didn't tell anybody. So I'm sitting in the room in the dorm, and the knock on the door, open the door, and this white guy standing there. It's like the parole officer. He said, and he asked me my name. I said, yeah, and he said, you know, you're on parole. And I was going, yeah. He said, well, you know, you're supposed to come in and report. We haven't seen you in 5 or 6 months. Because, you know, I was on the campus, and I said to myself, I ain't leaving off of here. There are only women there. It was a pretty exciting place, especially when you just come literally straight out of the big house, too, you know? Mm-hmm. I was going like, I don't see any reason to you know, we're going to go off campus. Like, why? Everything was there, you know? And the guy asked me, where have you been? I said, right here. And when he found out that, you know, I was on the team and all this shit, because he thought, like, you know, I said to myself, how many of his parolees are playing on the college basketball team? I'm like going, all I got to do is get him to see that, you know, I'm doing something else. I ain't got no time for no crimes. Mm-hmm. I ain't got time for crime right now. I'm being like Dave Chappelle. I'm busy being a goddamn basketball player. So I had a good time. My bad, man. Sorry, Stu. I don't know why I brought that up.
That's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
So Bob, what do you think is going to happen over the next 2 weeks, and then on November 3rd? What's your crystal ball telling you?
First of all, hold up. I'm still trying to put my hands about writing this sitcom about the guy who comes out of jail and goes to college.
Get on the bat. Don't forget the basketball team part. That was the funny
the basketball team. Yeah.
That was funny. Hey, listen. Hey, Bob. Nobody was more surprised than me.
Okay.
I never even thought about, I never even thought about going to college. You come out of prison, you're on parole, you ain't thinking, well, maybe next year I'll be in college, chilling out, watching the chicks walk by, on the basketball team. Wow.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't thinking like that.
So
I was thinking like, boy, what a loser you are.
I'm serious, man. Fresh Prince of Attica. This is something.
Yeah. That was pretty funny.
There's a story here. There's a sitcom in this. You got to write down some of your stories.
Hey, Bob, one day in practice, so now I'm in practice, and of course, I was on the prison team. Now, so these are kids, guys, young guys from Cincinnati, all around the country, black dudes. And here's this guy from Harlem who they don't know is really on parole and played on the prison team and can play prison rules. So one day in practice, I almost, this big dummy, I tried to block a shot, which I did, but I could have put him in the hospital. And I came, and once I knocked him down, came down on top of him, the coach blew the whistle. He said, "Frazier." I'm like going, yeah, like I made a great play. And he goes, "That's your teammate."
He was in practice.
Yeah. You're trying to kill a guy in practice. What are you doing? So, I was in there playing like it was the NBA 7th game every practice, dude. But I kept thinking, they're gonna, who wants to get violated in Ohio prison when you're not from Ohio and your family is from New York, and you're right, Fresh Prince, and they're not coming to see you. So you can't be breaking no rules. You can't, you can't be messing around with the crime shit. So you're in there playing. Now you're taking it more seriously because that's your only job. Going to class. So these are kids. I mean, I'm like 20, but I'm like really like 52. You know what I mean? I'm 20 years old, but I got like a mentality of a 52-year-old man. So none of the hijinks and all the shit they was doing, I wasn't down with none of that. I was like, Terminator, man. I was thinking about I come here to kill. I wasn't playing with these dudes, man. And it's just college. You just there for fun, I didn't get that. I didn't figure that out till later. You're there to have a good time. I was there on my job. Period.
Some folks would say that you continue that mentality further on, Doug. I've heard some of your folks in your Old Timers League comment similarly about your attitude.
Yeah, man. You got jumps too.
What can I tell you?
You shut me up on that.
Okay. Mr. Ponce, what's going on with you, man?
Oh man, I'm just trying to get from one day to the next. I have no idea what's going to happen on November 3rd. I'm obviously hoping and praying for the right solution, but even with the right solution, I'm scared of after election violence. So, but other than that, my life is good,
Yeah, Doug and I were talking over the weekend. I think that was over the weekend about not just the after election violence, but the after election, presuming that Biden wins, the challenge that he's going to have and possible backlash, because I mean the obstacles that we and he are up against are daunting, to say the least. And even with knock on wood, even with a Senate that goes Democratic, it's still going to be a huge challenge to turn this country around. There's so much that we have going against us.
Well, I think if he focuses on the problems, and as Doug said, you have to find a way that you kind of bring everyone together. And one of the things I feel like the Democrats have not done well is identify the areas of common ground. There is a lot of common ground with his base and our community, but it gets lost in the rhetoric. And they've been very, very good about painting the us versus them picture. What the Democrats they've been playing reactive instead of proactive. And so instead of talking about the things that everybody is dealing with, so COVID is obviously one of them. And it took till now for a lot of his base to recognize that, yeah, he screwed you guys on this. And many of your friends and family are dead because he did not do his job. But that's not the only area. I mean, water quality, healthcare, the economy. The Democrats should be ruling on these topics, but because they've allowed Trump to set the agenda, they're not scoring as many of those points as they should be. The Lincoln Project is actually doing a better job than the Democratic Party in terms of their advertising and attacking Trump. So that's the part to me that disturbs me. I mean, I'm obviously still going to vote Democrat, but I'm not really satisfied. And, when they criticize, well, what has the Democratic Party done for Black people? I'm not an extremist about it, but there are some legitimate points that they bring up. So, let's face it, there's dark money that's on both sides of the aisle, from these corporations that are shaping the policy of this country. And that's why we're in this mess, because the powers that be who can profit from it, they don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat, because they've stacked the deck either way, and until we get to that part of it, we're only going to see nominal change in things.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I certainly agree with you, Bob. I think the real nexus is the economics, and we've talked about it before. And Doug and I were kicking it over the weekend. That one thing that could happen, to his point about something for everyone, is some sort of universal basic income. With 18 million people unemployed, and with so many of the small and medium-sized businesses shut down and unlikely to come back, there's got to be some economic base that is put out there to help sustain everybody. That's my own opinion.
It's true.
But the Democrats keep stifling the progressive end of the party, which is the end of the party that's actually got some excitement in life and can drum up. And the other thing is that looking at the demographics, I mean, if you could get all of the young people in this country to really take voting seriously, you would have one of the most powerful voting blocks we've ever seen. But as you see, the Democrats, the one person in the Democratic Party who can appeal to young people, they put a muzzle on her, AOC I'm talking about.
Yes.
And she's the rising star. She's going to be around for a while, and they're not using it. It's like having your best player and putting them on the bench. You ever see? Yeah, I'm sorry, Doug. I'm going to run into sports analogy area. I know that's
right. You mess with that territory now.
Me coming into the lane, but
no, go ahead, man. The shit is addictive. Go ahead, man.
I know you play them rules, so but you know what? It's like every now and then you see a team where you get frustrated by the coaching because they have great players, but the coach doesn't know how to play them, and that's the Democrats, you know. So,
what do you think about that metaphor, Doug?
Well, it just shows you that it's not really the Democratic Party that's the problem. It's the people who are making the decisions in the Democratic Party, and they have to, you have to remove them or get new leadership because they're not playing for everybody. And you're right, Stu. If they were smart, they couldn't come together on universal income. They should come together and get everybody food stamps.
But the problem with
and healthcare, if they were smart about making sure everybody got something. So, and one last point. I don't think that there's going to be, and I'm only using this as the Fresh Prince from Attica or from Dannemora. I don't really see that there's going to be any violence after the fact, because if you want people to, whether they like Trump or not, he's still the president. And if you want people to respect, when you might win again, you got to act like you know. Otherwise, you guys are right. There's going to be some problems.
So, okay, I didn't follow that logic as to why there would not be violence.
Because when you look at who they are, and I'm putting on my criminal hat, I don't care. I only worry about what criminals are going to do. Because when criminals decide to commit violence, they also include mayhem with it. Not the kind of chaos that you see when people are out protesting, but they are people who, by definition, thrive on mayhem, destruction. And those are the people I would be more concerned about, because they're not going to be out in the open talking about with their weapons and showing people who they are. They're not doing none of that. They're going to be doing criminal things of violence. And that's what I would say we should be concerned about and worried about. I don't care about these groups that announce themselves and say they're going to do this. Yeah? That ain't what criminals do. They don't announce themselves and then they do all of that shit and they don't just talk about it. They do it. Those are the people I'm worried about, Bob.
Okay. I still don't feel any more comfortable, but thank you.
You shouldn't, Bob. You shouldn't, Bob. But my point I'm making is that the people who do all that announcing, they're gonna get what they're looking for if they start it up. And if you're announcing yourself, you ain't all of that. You know what I'm saying? If you announcing yourself, you ain't all of that. So there's accounting for everything. So I think we got to wait and see. And I've never met a liar that was a bully. I've never met anyone that a bully that had that combination, a bully that was also a liar. A bully usually someone who you have almost legitimate reason to be concerned about. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they're never associated with lying. They usually, try to people who make you think, hey, look, the so-and-so is going to do what they say. So when I see him, that I just said he's a talk, and he's out there talking stupid talk, and I ain't mad at the people for going along with that, because we all been in the course of life fooled and led astray by things. So there's nothing, and and they voted for him, so I'm kind of okay with them. I ain't mad at them. But if they start some shit, then I think there's going to be a big problem, because everything was okay when that guy was in, and he was only concerned about them. We didn't like it, but we all ate shit and went along with it. And that's what the fuck they're going to have to do too, bro.
Okay. All right. And
that's why I think ain't going to be no violence, because I think that is going to be an innate way that a lot of people are going to feel.
Yeah, okay. I don't feel one bit better having listened to you.
You ain't supposed to feel better.
I really wanted to. But here's the prima facie evidence. I'm gonna throw some. I got some SAT words. That's actually too. That's Latin. Latin Trump.
Wow, that is Latin.
Words.
Wow.
So the kid in Wisconsin, what's his name? Kyle Rittenhouse, and his mama and his dad, who, you know, crossed state lines to go to a protest to shoot some people. His mom, like it was an after-school event. Like she drove him to it like it was a soccer game. You know, drove back. So what happens? This kid gets arrested instead of shot down. You know, the police was like, actually the police let him leave the scene of the crime. You know, I think they gave him some water. And what happens? This guy raises hundreds of thousands of dollars in you know, in a GoFundMe. He is lauded as a hero on Fox News, you know. So the signals have been given out that it's okay. Not only is it okay under Trump to do this type of violence, but you're probably going to be protected in some way or manner. So he's already given the dog signals. He said, stand by to the Proud Boys right in the debate. You know, they've already pretty much said, you know, I saw one video where the guy's like, look, we ain't even got off the couch yet, you know, but, you know, you're talking about people who've been basically, you know, buying guns for the last 20 years, like to go out on the range and they like to play, you know, war games and all this other stuff. There is a contingent that ain't got nothing to do, got no economics, but they've been convinced that the reason why they're broke is not because, you know, other white people shipped their jobs off to China, but it's because immigrants came to take their jobs, like they were going to go pick fruit in the field, like that was going to happen. So, you know,
what's your concern, Bob?
Green light. You know, they've been given the green light. The dog, they're not even using the dog whistle anymore. They got the dog whistle going into a bullhorn because that's how brazen they are. So,
hey, Bob, you think they're brazen, Bob? I don't think they're brazen. I think they've been doing this kind of shit all along. It's just that now everybody see them now.
That's what brazen is, man. It's out in the open.
They've been doing this shit. Oh, I would make the case. They've been doing their little dirty shit all along.
But they've been doing it with a veneer of respectability.
Oh, the veneer's gone, Bob. You're right. Veneer's gone. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
technology took the veneer. That's it.
Yeah.
We all can see now. Vinegar, everything. Everybody sees everything. And that's why I made the point of what I just said earlier about what happens. You're going to have the people who don't mind going and doing something. They're going to be looking at stuff too. And they're going to. So right now we don't have people deciding to go out and, you know, they're going to handle things themselves too often. Now you can't imagine what would happen if everybody decided to do that. That's not a win-win. And I don't see how everybody would do that to protect the Lindsey Grahams and the bitch McConnells of the world, because all you need to do is get rid of them. Look at them. Get rid of the president. Get rid of the guy that's causing all of that, man.
Well, that's the problem. It's not. They're not easy. They're like a bad cold. Easy, man. They're like COVID. They're hard to get rid of.
It ain't supposed to be easy, man. Nothing's easy, man. The easy shit don't mean nothing. When you just like armed robber, they're the worst criminals in the world. And they when you around and they always pissing away everything they get, man, because they get it too easy. When you see the people who got to work hard for their shit, they steady. They'll take the steady way. They'll take the steady road. They'll put one step in front of the other and keep fighting the good fight. And you need all of those kind of people to win. And they ain't doing that right now. They just trying to they playing solo ball right now. You know, the Republicans, they're all solo. So that's why the people out there, they got the right guy in front, and you got a pandemic. So if they don't get rid of him, then I don't see how they're gonna be able to have much credibility. The government won't have much credibility, man. If somehow or another, all these people go out and think keeping him is a good idea, and we're all in the wrong place, man. I mean, it's just that simple. That's how bad he is. He's that bad. And the people who have enabled him are even worse. Like I said, the people who are listening to him and all, I ain't mad at them because, you know, we all been influenced out for all kinds of reasons, for all kinds of things. That's a lie. That's a lie. That happens to all of us. We've all done it. But the people who are actively helping this bullshit, and we can see that they're doing it,
Them the people that need to get out when you go out to vote. That's why you need to vote. You need to get rid of them people. Forget about the Democratic Party. Get rid of the people that's running. Get the people in there who's going to have the big ideas. If Pelosi's, the reason why Ocasio-Cortez's in there, because that guy, the white guy that was in there who had been there forever, he wasn't doing exactly what you said. That's how she got in. I need more of that. Keep it up. You put the women in there. They know what they're doing. They're getting rid of it. You see what Nancy's doing. Come on, man. Shit, this is the time when you get, Stu said something the other day. He said, sometimes when that was Brother Lieber. He said, sometimes when things are the hardest, sometimes you have your biggest success when you think shit is going the worst. So maybe
I agree with that.
That's true.
That maybe this would be that for all of us, for the country. That, seeing him and seeing what happens when the minority runs the country, and the minority is white men, because they are the minority. And they've got everything skewed so that they're winning everything. And they're calling other people minorities, and they got an evil, mean ogre for a leader. It doesn't get any better than that if this was Hollywood. Now,
that's true.
Yeah, we're gonna learn our lesson. I'm just saying
this way. If somebody had pitched 2020 to Hollywood as a script last year, they would be like, nah, that's just unbelievable. Who's going to believe that?
Too outrageous.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. Well, Rolando, I wonder what Rolando thinks about that. He's a filmmaker. Rolando, what do you think about the viability of 2020 as a script, as a movie script?
I mean, if there was enough stuff to substantiate the reasoning, I think it would probably fly. I mean, in Hollywood, the things that are unbelievable are believable because it is filmmaking. You know what I mean? It's just a story. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I think they're like, there's a TV show called The Pandemic that was out. I mean, it didn't have anything to do with the political part of it, but I was watching it, and it was basically what we were going through right now. I don't know. Did you guys ever see it? I mean, Doug.
I saw the
Pandemic. It takes place in the.
I ain't watching. I've seen it on
Netflix, right? It takes place. Yeah. I was watching it during the lockdown. It was really, really fascinating because it seems that it was like it was taking place. We were going through the experience that I saw in the film.
Wow.
So, but yeah. But yes, definitely, it is unbelievable. I'm almost interested in seeing. I mean, I think the ultimate thing that I would love to see is that Trump become totally bankrupt, and the world gets to witness that. I mean, but that's my wish.
I'd like to see him in jail myself.
That a film?
I'm sorry. No. That's my wish. Yeah, that would be in my film. Yes.
Okay. Bob would put him in jail.
Lock him up.
Yeah, it's hard to see old white men locking up another old white man like himself. So.
Yes, that's true. You saw what they did with Nixon. It's like
exactly.
It's like it's even if we get him out, the chances. I don't feel like the Democrats have enough testicular fortitude to actually go after him to put him in jail.
Yeah, I don't see how that happens either. And even if
but you know who does? Tish James.
Well, she's not a real prosecutor. She's a politician. So I wouldn't be afraid of her. I would be more afraid of a real prosecutor because that's what they do. I don't see him being put in jail. I just don't see him being put in jail. I mean, you just might as well get on and, do something else because I don't see how that works out.
Well, he can be prosecuted. Once he's out of office, he can be prosecuted on the state level, and he's got a.
No, I agree. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I don't see. Let me put it this way. I don't see any kind of happy ending if that happens for him. If he gets in any kind of jail, I don't care how soft it is, whatever. I don't see a happy ending because.
Oh, come on, Doug. You know they got country clubs still. They still got Club Fed.
I'm just going to say this, Bob. You know, I know people say it's a country club, but remember, you know, they put the maniacs in there too, bro. And you know, so, you know, it's not like you got a country club of well-meaning, docile people. You know, we're talking that some of these people are really maniacs, man. It's prison.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't put the nice people in there, you know. So I'm just saying to you is that I don't see him having a chance in there. He's not going to last.
Well, I mean, he's a 70 plus overweight man.
He's going. I'm just telling you, he's going. He's going. He's going. Because you know the reputation that someone would get for doing it is beyond the pale. And that's probably what they would be using, something that goes in the pale. But you know he's a goner.
Yeah, I don't think psychologically. I don't think he could survive that himself psychologically.
Well, I'm saying he ain't gonna survive it physically. So he's going. Okay. I don't care where they put him. You know, isolated, supermax. Somebody's getting to him, man. He's out.
I think psychologically, I don't think he could even afford to be broke. I mean, that'll be a big thing psychologically for him.
Oh, he ain't gonna be broke. Putin's gonna take care of it.
Yeah, he's going to Russia. That's my prediction. He's moving to Russia.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's about time. He's probably going to trade Melania in after. If he loses and he's going back into private life, he's probably going to trade up for a younger, newer model. So to say.
Hey, Rolando, I see you having a script. You're having a script writers meeting for your for your movie because these are some great ideas. You know, I don't think he's leaving the country, man.
Oh, Rolando, were you on when we were talking about the Fresh Prince of Attica?
No.
Thank God.
No, I missed that.
Thank God, Rolando.
No.
Yeah, Rolando's already got 1 or 2 scripts going about us. So,
hey man, this is the Doug Frazier story. Come on,
man. Come on, Bob. Hey, Bob, that was just a funny incident.
I'm sorry. We're gonna change the names. It's gonna be Dan Frazier, and we're gonna spell Frazier SER instead of ZIER. So no one will know.
Hey Stu, what is he talking about, Stu? I've used
my name is Bennett.
I'm not in it.
Ain't in it.
That's amazing right there, Stu.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Well,
you know, Bob, just an FYI, Rolando, as well as 1 or 2 others, have been trying to do a screenplay movie about the escapades of Doug and myself for over 10 years, I would say. So,
okay.
And that piece that you were talking about this morning wasn't even included. That's a whole nother piece.
Okay, well, y'all can take that one and run with it. Just invite me to the premiere. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you put the Category 5 tornado into that, Stu.
Yeah, well, you know, you've got quite a story there, Mr. Dan Frazier.
Eon. Yes.
And I know many of the episodes and chapters, so I don't even need to go into it. But
yeah, you're right.
Hey, you gotta monetize our story.
It's at the very least a mini series.
Yeah,
what do you call those big sagas, Rolando? Like those multi-episode sagas.
Epic.
Yeah, I think it's an epic.
Trilogies.
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Epic or trilogy.
Yeah. Like Shogun or one of those.
Oh shit! Would you gonna go get Cecil B?
We got Rolando. What we need Cecil B for?
Because we got Cecil B. Rolando.
That's right.
Yeah. There'll be a lot of energy with him still.
Yeah, I got you.
Absolutely.
A lot of energy.
Yeah. So, Rolando, this is a little bit off topic, but did you get the email that I sent you with your draft of your website?
I did. I saw it this morning. It was good. Thank you. Yeah, just want to talk to you a little bit more about it.
Okay, we can do that offline. Maybe you can give me a call.
Yes, I will do that.
Okay.
Sure.
Great.
on. Try to get back. I'm driving, as you may know.
Okay.
Are you driving in the car?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he first came on, we saw him behind the wheel with his mask on, but
cool.
His video dropped out. Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
Now I know where I'm going, so I don't need to.
You can put on his camera now. He knows where he's going.
Yeah.
You must be driving outside of Brooklyn.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just coming back from the island.
You know he's from Brooklyn still.
Yeah, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, he's from Brooklyn, man.
Yeah, originally from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, guys from Harlem, you know, that's our mortal enemies, Brooklyn. Sports-wise.
So I've been told.
That's right. Many, many times.
Mm-hmm.
So he's from Brooklyn and he gets the proper amount of respect.
Brooklyn respect.
Yeah, you're getting Brooklyn respect, you know. You gotta be let me say Brooklyn boy, you gotta be a person that like to walk if you live in Brooklyn, boy. God dang.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man, them blocks are long ass blocks, dude.
I know. One Brooklyn block is what, 3 blocks in Manhattan or something?
Yeah, man. And you gotta walk everywhere. You know, there's the buses, the only buses go all crazy.
Yeah.
So did you guys see me on New York One about a month ago on these scooters that they're trying to bring into Brooklyn?
No, you wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Curtis and I got invited out to try out. It's a company they're basically bringing in scooters. It's kind of like the city bikes, you know, where you can just use your app on your cell phone and you can rent the scooters, and they're using them as a kind of alternative, mode of transportation. So like if you're in that 2-fare zone, you come out of the subway, they'll have some of these scooters there. You can jump on it and take the scooter home.
Does it have a motor?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's I guess a cell phone connection because they got GPS on it, and you got to use your app to activate it, and they also got some kind of next level technology where they do this geofencing, so you can't ride it on. If you try to ride it up on the sidewalk, if it passes the geofence, it'll just stop. Just slow down and stop. So so you can't ride it out of area, so to speak. And but it was a nice device, and they're trying to experiment with ways to address the transportation issue out there in these 2-fare zones, and eventually they're probably going to try to bring it into Harlem, but they're doing some city trial where they're probably going to start on it in March in Brooklyn.
I see my friend lives in Oakland, and they have all of that stuff out there. They have the scooters, the motorbikes, the bicycle shares. It's a new form of transportation for the for the U.S. basically, especially in densely populated areas. And in the Bronx, I mean, I've seen everybody seems to be taking them. I mean, I think there must be a big influence of even like manufacturers are like there's a lot of motorbikes now. There's a lot of scooter bikes out for sale. There's a lot of kids in my neighborhood are just driving, these scooters now. They just buying them $2,000. They're buying their own scooters.
Yep.
Well,
I ran into I say a kid I know. He just turned 33, so he's not a kid. But I saw him midsummer, and he was on a scooter coming up St. Nick, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not trying to be on the subway right now." So I understand that.
Exactly. That's my daughter. Matter of fact, she's the same way. She doesn't want to be on the subway. She's she jumps on these city bikes, hopping from one borough to the next.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen these the ones that I like the best are these little, not scooters, because they got all these names for these different things. You got the Revell scooter, the blue ones, those are like electric scooters.
Right.
And you got the little scooters that you stand up on and ride on those.
Right, that's the kind I was talking about. That's
right.
That's the kind we were.
And then,
it was called a link.
Right. Okay. Those things. One thing about one of those. When you fall off one of those, you're gonna remember that. But at the same time, they also have the one that I seen that I like the best. I see the young kids riding around here on is a little. It's like a bike. It's a little small bike, but it's got a little electrical motor on it, and the kids you rent the bike for $80 for the whole month. And it has a battery in it, self-cleaning handlebars. It has a 20-mile range, and it goes like 15 miles an hour. And you see all these young kids. I stopped one kid one day and was asking him about it. And I went online and I looked it up. And Rolando's right. They have them in this particular company in Oakland, in California, and in LA. And I think those are, to me, are the ones that I've seen the best. Because I've seen the kid come in the building, in the project, come right in the building and ride the thing right on the elevators, all small, So it made me to realize that the battery technology is off the chart.
Oh, yeah.
Doug, you can take the unit into the house, Doug?
No, it's a little. It looks like a little small bicycle.
But is it small enough? Is it small enough to take into the house?
Yes, but here's what I would say: it's smaller to take in your house, but like you ain't gonna take that thing and carry it up 5 flights of stairs. I tell you that. You know what I mean? But if you gotta take it up 2 or 3 steps, you'll get in with the thing weighs about 80 pounds.
Okay, 80 or 90 get on the elevator with it.
Yeah, so you can get on the elevator with it, no problem. But it's nice and small, and it's and you can rent it by the month. And I think the price is right too. So, and it's got a 20-mile range. I don't know if it's geo fenced or anything, because I've seen them grown-ups riding them on the sidewalk. But they little though. They're smaller, but they look like a little small bicycle. And I said that looked a lot more safer than like the Revell scooter. Because Rolando, why don't you tell us about you rented one of those scooters, Rolando?
Yeah, so I rented one of those Revell scooters to check it out the first time. So I have not been on a scooter for at least 30 years. It must have been 30 years. So the first thing that I noticed, and the guy that helped me start it off, he said, "Hey, the torque on this thing is really strong. So you just gotta be gentle on the torque." And it was. The minute you just put on it, just boom. You got to put your brakes on. You got to like really tap it before you go off. So it took me a while to get used to that. And then it kind of took me a little bit to turning it off and just wheel. I was trying to back up, and I almost ran into traffic because I put my hand down on the torque and it just shot off again. I had to put my brakes on like both of them at the same time, or else I would have been in traffic. I would have been very injured. So after that point, I realized that, hey, let me take a tutorial on this and and take a minute before I go back on this again. So I just drove around the block and I parked it. That was it. But I mean, it was easy to set up. It was very easy to set up, and you have to do a test. You have to send a video of you wearing the helmet before you get on, before you start your ride, for their liability insurance.
Well, you know why they're doing that stuff, right? They had a bunch of
for liability sake.
Well, they had some deaths in the summer, and they shut it down for about 3 weeks to a month. And kind of came back with more of the safety stuff and what they did. So like the guy who kind of brought us out there, he actually was consulting with them. And when they had a few deaths, because they had a couple of kids that were just plain stupid about it, but they hadn't done enough training. So they said, look, you need to shut it down by yourself and control it, because if you don't shut it down yourself, they're going to shut you down. And then you're not going to be able to control what happens. So they voluntarily shut it down for some weeks, and then they came back, and then they added on those provisions where now you have to do a training, and you got to show that you're wearing a helmet and all that other stuff. So I think that was a smart move on their part to deal with the problem before somebody in the city came in and just said, no, you can't be doing this.
I say the best thing I've seen is that bike because it looks like a bike. You think of it like a bike, and you're not going to be. And the thing that Ravel thing, that's a real motor, like a little baby electrical motorcycle. You know, he went around the block, but he rented that thing every bit of like 7 minutes. The thing was scary because you have to know what you're doing, and we seen the people riding around going crazy. I would pick the bike, you know, because I'm scared of the scooter the way you might fall off it, you know, if you hit the
Well,
wrong
I'll tell
bump.
you this, Doug. I never saw myself on the scooter, but when I went out and tried this particular one, it was very, very stable and easy to
Yeah, I
use.
believe you.
And I had a whole nother experience after I tried it. It's like, okay, I could do this.
Right, I know you could, but here's what I do know about you. I know you ain't gonna have no problem doing a bike. I know that.
Oh yeah,
That's all I'm saying. You ain't even gonna think twice about the bike. And this
Right.
bike, the bike, Bob, the name of the place is getwheels.com. And you know, but the point is, and you can look at it, they get real slick, and the bike is smaller than your bike.
Well,
You know what I'm
there's
saying? When I say
another.
smaller, but I mean it has. I've seen people on it look like they weigh 300 pounds riding around on it. I mean, that's what caught my attention. I said that you see really big people riding around on that little bike.
Mhm.
So I'm just saying you should check it out. I was stunned, and I
Uh-huh.
actually saw two of them up at. I was walking one morning up by Philip Randolph, and I seen the kids got two of them, and they chained them to the fence in front of the school. I don't know if they belong to the teacher or the school, but they had two of those. Because you know you rent it for $80 a month, and they bring it and give it to you.
Mhm.
They deliver it. You know they come and deliver it, bring the bike to wherever you are. You know,
Mhm.
so it's a bike you can put in your house too. It's that you can lift it up. But and then they dig this. It's a $1,500 bike though. They said if you tell us it's stolen, then you just bought it for $1,500. So they tell you how much it costs. So probably cheaper than that. So you know you ain't gonna be all crazy. My point is, you know, and it comes with a little helmet. And I keep saying to myself, the things that you already know how to do, if somebody's making that more convenient, you might do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getwheels.com.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think
Okay.
I'm going to have to sign off here and run and do
Yeah.
some other business this morning.
Hey, I'm good.
Okay.
Mhm.
Been a good conversation. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Okay.
Steve.
All right, gentlemen.
I'm gonna give you a call. I'll give you a call a little bit later.
Okay, thanks, Ro.
All right.
All right, Doug, you got our sign off?
Festa.
This has been the After Action Report for October 19th, 2020. Tune in again next week, and you just might learn something. Thanks for tuning in.
All right,
All
Steve.
All
right.
right. Take care.
All
All right.
Against Grossman and 2 fumbles. What do you see about the Bears? We shut them down that way.
No, we just the Bears are what we thought they were. They're what we thought they were. We played them in preseason. Who the hell takes a third game in the preseason like it's bullshit? Bullshit. We played them in the third game. Everybody played 3 quarters. The Bears are who we thought they were. That's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Well, I'll start off by saying this. Do not blame that game on the defense, okay? I don't care who you play, whether it's a high school team, a junior college team, a college team, much less an NFL team. When you turn the ball over 5 times, 4 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, 3 others in field position to set up touchdowns, you ain't going to beat anybody I just talked about. Anybody. All right? And that was a disgraceful performance, in my opinion. We threw that game. We gave it away by doing that. We gave them the friggin' game. In my opinion, that sucked. You know, You can't turn the ball over 5 times like that. Holy crap. I don't know who the hell we think we are when we do something like that. Unbelievable. 5 turnovers. One of them, we've thrown 4 interceptions for touchdowns this year. That might be an NFL record. That's pitiful. I mean, it's absolutely pitiful to perform like that. Pitiful. What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
Trying to get our 2 boys ready to carry them to golf tournament before practice, right? 12 cats live across the road. Our door's open. Screen's broke. We need to get a new screen door, but the screen's broke. So you can come in through the screen, but you can't get back out of it. I turn and look, there's a little kitty cat in our kitchen. So I said, what are you doing in here, little kitty cat? By that time, the cat turns, tries to get back out. That screen won't go that way. Cat starts going, meow, all crazy. And I told our players, we need more dogs. Bo's barking in the back. I have to go shut Bo up. And I was like, what's going on? I said, there's a cat in the house. Cat in the house? I said, yeah, there's a cat in the house. So I told our players, I tried to let it out the front door. Meow, meow, the cat's still going crazy in there. And I told our players, you need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here. Yeah, looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs.
If I could determine what the hell he's going to look like next year, that's just what I have no idea. I got to wait till next year to watch him play. I mean, I can't do that. You know,
You would anticipate, right?
wait a minute. I see Bailey. The image is fading. Just a second. Coming back. Yes. Images are tough to deal with. Sometimes you got to get them in line. Yes, I see.